Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today's going to be a bit of a different... Oh, Postman made me jump. So today's going to be a bit of a different video. We're going to be talking about something that's quite personal and definitely not makeup related. So I just want to start off this video with a little disclaimer saying I'm not looking for sympathy. I'm not looking for people to feel sorry for me. Like, I don't need that. I'm fine. I may cry in this video, but that's just hormones. Like, I don't know. Very hormonal at the moment. And another disclaimer, if you have a very weak stomach or you're very, like, you're not good with gore, you're very, like, you know, you're not good with that, like, rank sort of thing, like, because there's going to be some pictures in here that just aren't, you know, nice, and they're quite explicit, and there's also going to be me talking about stuff in detail. So yeah, if you don't like that sort of thing, then don't watch the video, because you're not going to be able to, like, it's just not nice to look at. So basically, let me start off. I didn't even say what I was going to talk about, did I? No. So I'm going to be talking about Hidradenitis Suppurativa today. I'll put it on the screen if you don't know how to, like, spell it or anything. And I'm just going to be calling it HS just because it's easier. HS is basically an autoimmune condition, and what that means is it's a condition that you get as a result of having a weak immune system. So I've had a weak immune system since I was like 2 because I had pneumonia. And I've always been ill, like I'm always ill, and I always have something wrong with me, so HS kind of added to that. But I've had, let me just explain it a bit more. HS is basically where you get lumps, and I'm going to call them lumps because that's what I've always called them. HS is where you get lumps underneath your skin in places where you have lymph nodes, so your armpits, your groin. I'm pretty sure you can get them on your bum. I think I've seen some of, like, you can get them on your bum cheeks, but I don't think there's lymph nodes there. I don't know. If you want to go and research HS, feel free to. Like, that is what the point of this video is, so that more people know about it. And it's not a very nice condition to have. It's very painful. It is, and I looked up yesterday, and it is the 3rd most painful condition. So anyway, it is just not saying, it's not nice at all. I would never wish it on anyone, and it's a very lonely condition to have. Like, it makes you feel like you're literally the only person in the world that has it, and it's horrible. Like, it's not nice at all to go through. So I'm just going to talk about my experience with HS and how I got through it, and now, and, you know, like, things that I've gone through and just stuff like that. So but yeah, so I'm going to start off when I was 11. I first got HS when I was 11. I started finding these lumps in my groin and my armpits, and it was just really weird. Like, me and my mum didn't know what they were. It was like, they were tiny little pea-sized lumps, so they were, like, really weird. They're underneath the skin. Some of them would pop and some of them wouldn't. Like, some of them are really hard rock-like lumps, and some of them are like blisters, so they pop. And again, like I said, this is disgusting, but I'm talking about it in detail. And it was very painful. Like, it is very painful, and I had to go to school with it. I had to do PE, and it was just the worst thing having to do PE with them, because people really don't understand the amount of pain that it puts you through. And because we didn't know what it was, I didn't really have an excuse. Like, it wasn't like, oh, I've got this. It was like, I've got these lumps in my groin. So no one knew what they were, and I actually didn't get diagnosed until I was 14. And then we went to the hospital, and they told us it was Hidradenitis Suppurativa, and we was like, oh my god, like, what is that? Never heard of that before. And me and my mum came out, and we was laughing about it because we was trying to pronounce it. And then I would go to the dermatologist quite a lot, and that's a skin doctor, in case you don't know. And it would kind of be like, I got put on these lotions, like a lotion and a body scrub, like a bath scrub sort of thing, and they didn't help at all. Like, I knew they weren't going to work, because how how is a little bit of lotion going to get rid of something that's internal? Do you know what I mean? So I knew that wasn't going to work. And then they were just getting worse because I wasn't on anything for them. They were just going to get worse. And because they didn't really know what it was, no doctors knew what it was. We went to the doctor so many times and no one had a clue. And finally the doctor that did know what it was said there was nothing to do for it. Like, there's no cure, there's no medication. So it was quite long. But then it just started getting worse, and I eventually had one in my armpit, in my left armpit, that was really bad. The lump itself was open and it wasn't healing. Like, it was just an open lump the whole time, and it was so sore and it just wasn't going away. So we went to a plastic surgeon, and he said that he doesn't recommend getting surgery because most of the time it doesn't heal properly, or it takes a really long time to heal. And some of the doctors said that it does come back. Like, people that I'm on a support group on Facebook, and some of the people that have had the surgery have said that their lumps have still come back even after they've had the surgery, but I'm lucky enough, touch wood, that mine hasn't. So I got the surgery when I was 15, and I actually got it on Friday the 13th, which has worked out unlucky for me. We joked about it at the time. It was like, oh my god, Friday the 13th is going to be so unlucky. But it actually was. Basically, I went and got my surgery done. Well, I went in for surgery, and we got told that because I was supposed to get it done by a plastic surgeon, but I don't know why he wasn't there. But the surgeon obviously couldn't make it, so I got offered a general surgeon. And so basically, he done the surgery. He said it went really smoothly, and I've got photos. I'll be putting in photos every now and then, just like whenever I talk about a certain situation, I'll put in some photos. And so I was in the hospital for a day. It was just a day surgery, and this was my scar, not my scar, this was my wound after the surgery, like literally just after. So it wasn't the cleanest, it wasn't like the nicest wound. It isn't the nicest scar you could ever see. Like, it could have been a lot cleaner, but I was just happy that I wasn't going to have any more lumps. And he actually stitched my wounds. So he did, I think he done them invisible stitches on the inside, and they didn't last, obviously. That is the whole point of what I'm about to talk about. So the invisible stitches didn't last, and he actually cut a nerve by accident. Well, we assume that's what it was. Like, that's what we got told by the nurse and stuff, because I couldn't feel this part of my arm, and I'm not being funny, I still can't really feel much. I couldn't feel that part of my arm for like a year, and it's still like numb. When I get tickled there, when someone pinches it, I can't feel it. So I don't know, but he accidentally cut a nerve there, and so that part of my arm was just completely numb. I didn't feel anything on it, but my armpit I did still feel stuff. So that was another thing. Like, he shouldn't have put stitches in my arm in the first place, because when you have a wound that's like, I don't know, like this big, and it's like a deep wound as well, it's not just like, you know, a flat wound, and you try and stitch it together, it's never gonna stay stitched. It was just gonna pop open at some point, which it did. And so yeah, we done that, and that just obviously didn't, I don't actually know how many days after my surgery it opened, but when we got home, I'll insert some pictures of my scar like a couple days after, and we could already see like it was starting to look a bit like we already knew it wasn't going to look the nicest because it's like a fresh wound, you know what I mean? But it didn't look good, and we could tell like it wasn't how it should have been. And so my mum had to change my dressings most days. We did go to the nurse sometimes, but my mum changed my dressings most of the time. And you can see in the pictures how sore my skin is from the dressings, because they were so they're the stickiest things, and putting them on the exact same square of skin every single day, it rips off layers of your skin. So my skin was so sore, and it was just awful. It was like I went through so much pain every single day getting these dressings changed. And when I went to the nurse, she'd just go rip it straight off. Like, it was like she was not soft with my arm at all. And so that was another painful part. It was, I just remember that, like, looking at that photo, I can literally feel my pain. I can feel how much pain I was in because it was so sore. And we actually found out that I was allergic to one of the dressings that we'd been using, which is another reason why my arm was so red and bumpy. So yeah, I'm gonna put some, so these are pictures like when it started to get infected and we could tell, and it had opened. It wasn't open from top to bottom, but it was like halfway down from to the bottom. So long story short, I am going to explain it more, but like long story short, I had this open wound for 4 months after my surgery. It was an ongoing thing that no one knew how to fix. So we went back to the doctors and stuff, like every time I got my dressing changed, we'd be like it's open and it's infected and it's bad. And I'm just warning you, this next photo is absolutely disgusting. And I can't look at it without like feeling sick. Like, it's so rank and it's so, I don't know, like, it's just, it just makes me feel sick. And it's like the fact that I had that in my armpit, it's just not nice. And so so that is this photo now, and this was basically when like it was at its worst, and we was like, this is ridiculous, it's so infected, and we didn't know what to do, and we just had to, like, because I couldn't get it wet, we had to clean it with something. I can't remember what we had to clean it with. Like, we had to clean the outside, I think, with like wet wipes every day, because it was like so gunky and just infected and disgusting. And so yeah, I went through quite a lot, and when it got to its worst, we went to A&E. I can't remember why we went to A&E, but we did. And then we went in, and it was this, she was a surgeon, and she said that she thinks they should do stitches. So I was like, okay, that's fine. Like, I didn't know any better, so I was like, yeah, stitches is fine. And I laid down, and she was like, right, I'm gonna numb you. Like, she put all this ugly, like, she put this brown solution on the outside of my skin, because I think that's what they do to, like, make it sterile. And then she was like, right, I'm gonna inject your wound with some numbing things so that I didn't feel any of the stitches, basically. And I'm pretty sure she actually did inject inside my wound, because I felt it. And she done it quite a few times because it wasn't working. When I don't know why, but quite a lot of stuff doesn't work on me. Like, when I had my surgery, and you know, they put that needle inside your hand to make you go to sleep, it wasn't working. I just like, and it was a trainee doing it as well, and he was really rummaging around in my hand to try and get it in, because he didn't know if he'd done it right. So I was really panicking about that, because I was like, oh my god, he's training and he's like sticking a needle in my hand. So yeah, anyway, that didn't really work, so I had to have the gas and air thing that makes you go to sleep. And so she was poking this needle, like prodding it around in my wound, and she's like, can you still feel that? I was like, yeah. Like, crying my eyes out, by the way, because I was in so much pain. And she was like, can you still feel that? I was like, yes. Like, I could still feel every single thing. She was like, I'm really sorry, but we just have to do it. I was like, oh my god, okay. And every time I get something painful done, I like to hold my mum's hand. I know it sounds like silly, but I was so upset, and I was so in so much pain. All I wanted was to hold her hand. But I was laying down next to a wall, and the surgeon was on my side, so I had no way of holding my mum's hand. And so I was terrified. I was so like scared and upset. And she started doing stitches, and it was so painful. I remember just crying my eyes out. I was looking at the wall because I was like, don't cry, don't cry. But it was so painful. And I just remember like the feeling of like the little bit of wire pulling through my skin. It was just so painful. And then this is a photo of the stitches, and after we got them done, I can't remember, I think it was literally a couple of days, like 2 days or so, maybe even less, that they popped open. Like they didn't last, they literally popped open again. And so that was painful. So then I had to go and get them taken out, and that was a really painful thing as well, because I'd never had stitches before, so I didn't know what they felt like. And so to get them taken out was even more painful. And we then got told by another doctor or surgeon, I can't remember if it was a doctor or surgeon, we got told that she should have never done the stitches in the first place. We should have never got the stitches in the first place at the operation, after the operation, because what they were supposed to do was pack my wound, which, if you don't know what that means, when you have like a open wound, they pack it with gauze, is it? Gauze? I think it's gauze. With like stuff like that, and they just pack it all in, and then they put dressing over the top of it. And then every time you get your dressing changed, I'm pretty sure the packing gets changed as well. But as it heals, like it heals upwards, so you get less and less packing, so eventually it reaches the surface, if you know what I mean, if that makes any sense. So we got told that's how we should have had it done, like that's what we should have had done. Never stitches in the first place, let alone the second time. And so it's like basically getting told that I went through all this pain for no reason. Like, it was unnecessary amounts of pain. And so after that, it was a long 4 months. But I just want to say, like, I didn't moan. I was so good with it. I was so, like, I handled it so well. I barely moaned. I just don't remember moaning that much about it. Like, you'd think having a hole in your armpit, you'd be crying all the time, moaning all the time, but I didn't. And I went to school with it. I'd done everything that I would normally do. And it was just like, I just got on with it, really, which really pat on the back to me. Eventually we went to this doctor, well, this plastic surgeon, and he said, oh, I want you to try steroid cream. And he was like, literally, you just apply it on the dressing and then you put the dressing on. So he's like, right, let's do that. And after a week, it had literally improved so much. And to some people, it won't look like it improved, but it will look like, you know, just as an open wound as it was before. But we could literally see the infection going away, because it wasn't black anymore. It wasn't, you know, have all them grey bits. It was bright red, which is a good sign because it's fresh, clean skin. So it was like, we were so happy, and I remember just like crying because I was so happy that it was finally getting fixed. And it was like, I went through 4 months of not knowing what to do for this one plastic surgeon to say, I want you to try steroid cream. And that was that. And it worked. And I think it was fairly quick. Like, my wound healed really quickly. So yeah, and I was just so happy, and I didn't care about my scar not being as clean as it should have, because it isn't. Like, it is not the nicest scar you could possibly have. I'll just show you. So this is my scar now. It's not pretty, like I said, but it's, you know, your average scar. Well, not really, but it doesn't hurt anymore. It's, you know, it's just a scar now. But it shouldn't have been like this. It should have been just one straight line, you know. It shouldn't have been open like the way it is. This was obviously where it was open, and, you know, because it healed open, that's how it looks, you know. And obviously I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not embarrassed of it. But that is, again, the point of this video, is like to raise awareness about it, because it's so horrible. And basically after my surgery, I don't know how long, but I got put on this medication called doxycycline, which I was on until about a month ago. So I've been on it for quite a while, and it didn't get rid of my HS, and it didn't, you know, make it better, but it kept it at the same level, so it never got worse. But about a month ago, I got a job, and bearing in mind I'm not the most active person, so when I got this job as a sales advisor, I walk a lot more than I'm used to, or I'm standing a lot more than I'm used to, like I was in school. Because when I was in school, it was just a constant thing. Like, it never went away. It was always there. Like, I always had at least one lump in my groin. My armpit, my right armpit is completely fine. Like, I don't get any lumps, touch wood, in my armpit, in my right armpit anymore, which I don't know why. So I'm sorry, I'm just quickly popping in to say, because I forgot to say it before in the video. Jesus Christ, not that. HS gets blamed a lot on weight and hygiene, and that was something I completely forgot to talk about, but I really wanted to. And when I was, bearing in mind I got HS when I was 11, and I certainly wasn't overweight when I was 11. I was quite small, and I've had HS even at my slimmest, so mine is nothing mine is not due to weight at all. And I personally don't think that HS is due to weight at all. I do think weight has an effect on it. If you're, you know, morbidly obese, you have crevices, and like lumps are bound to appear because of the sweat that gets trapped there. But mine was not due to weight, and they also say that it can be due to hygiene. One doctor went on this morning and was like, oh, you can get HS from not being hygienic and stuff like that. And that is certainly not the case as well. I wash every day, and I thoroughly wash my affected areas. So it's nothing to do with that. And I just want to say, like, I just personally think that it is your body. And also, as much as I say in this video that it is hereditary, not always, but like it can be passed down to your children. But I didn't get it from anyone. Like, my mum doesn't have it, my dad doesn't have it, no one in my family has it. So, you know, I started off the line. But hopefully it's not something that is massively hereditary. But I used to, so it just really confuses me why I don't get any in there anymore. But my groin is just the worst. I used to have them constantly in school, like I said, you know, I'd never not have one. And then they went away. Not went away, but like it would be like I'd only get one every month. They'd last like 2 weeks, but I'd only get one every month. So it wasn't as bad as it could have been. But recently, after starting this job, I've had plenty more. I think in the space of a month, I've had like 6, which is just hard. Like, I've got one recently that is probably the most painful lump that I've ever had in my life. It's so painful, and I can't, like, I literally went into my mum's bedroom last night crying my eyes out because I was in agony, and I can't, God. And I can't describe it. It's just so painful, and it's so sore, and like, it's just not something that anyone should have to go through. So yeah, I've had quite a few this past month, which has just been awful. Like, having to walk around work, just literally in pain, walking back and forth, going upstairs every day. Like, it's not easy. And it's just not nice. Like, the one thing that bothers me is obviously the pain. I've always thought I dealt with it really well, because I am a bit of a hypochondriac. Anytime I'm in pain or I've got a cold, I moan. Like, I'm always like, oh, I've got a cold. But HS has always been something that I've kind of just dealt with, and I've just got on with it. But recently I felt like I've not been dealing with it as well. Just because it's like, it's just been harder. It's just been harder lately to deal with it, because being at work and walking around quite a lot makes it a lot harder and more painful, and there's nothing really that gets rid of it. I just have to deal with it until it goes, whenever it decides to go. I use my pyjama top, but I want to raise awareness for it, because I feel like so many people have it and they don't talk about it because they're either embarrassed or ashamed or self-conscious about it. And I'm self-conscious, don't get me wrong. I hate wearing bikinis, I hate wearing swim costumes because I've got ugly scars in my groin and my groin doesn't look how it should. And when I went to the doctors a month ago to get taken off doxycycline, she looked at it and she went, "Oh, it looks so good, like, you're so lucky, like, that you've got it like this." And I was like, lucky? I'm not lucky at all. My groin shouldn't look like this. Like, she says, I get it, I get what she means, it could be worse and it could look 100 times worse than the way it does, but it still doesn't look how it should. It's still ugly and full of scars. It shouldn't look like that. And it really annoys me when people who don't have it, she can't sympathise. I feel like when you can't sympathise with it or with anything, don't really deserve an opinion, if I'm honest. There are plenty of other symptoms. Basically, one of the main symptoms of HS is depression. And I'm not saying I've ever been depressed, because I don't think I have, but this past year where I was unemployed for a very long time and that got me down a lot, but whenever I had a flare-up, it was like I was even more so upset, because you just get upset for no reason. And it's like, I sometimes just sit and cry and I'm like, why am I crying? I have no reason to cry. But then it's like, oh, flare up, because HS is just... But when I say that, I don't mean I'm depressed about having it. An actual symptom of having it is depression. So, you know, it's not something I can help, and I don't have many people to talk to about it, because sometimes I feel like I'm annoying people with it. They don't care. The main person that I talk to about it is my mum, and she helps me so much. And I think because she went through it all with me, like because she changed my dressings and stuff when I had the surgery. She's the one person. She's the one person that can relate. It's just something I'm so sick of having, and I don't have anyone to talk to. I'm not crying because I'm like wanting attention. I'm crying because I'm so sick of it, and it's something that I have to live with forever, and it's also something that I could pass down to my kids, and that's the last thing I want. And it's just, I don't even care about the self-conscious thing anymore. Obviously I get self-conscious every now and then of it, but I used to hate my body, and as much as I think it's ugly, I kind of own it now, and I'm like, right, I've got this, it's never gonna go away, so you might as well just accept it and own it, which I do. Like, I'm tired all the time because it just makes you so tired, and like, it can affect my mood. There's so much. How is that fair? Bear in mind, I've already got a weak immune system, so I'm susceptible to anything. And then my body's like, let's give you another thing. Let's give you another condition. There you go. Like, so rude, honestly. Basically, to sum up where I'm at now, if it gets any worse, we are going to try this medication that is like a, I think it's like a, is it an 8-week trial or longer? It's a trial basically, and if that doesn't work, the only other thing is an injection that you do yourself or someone else does for you, like at home. I think it's every day you do this injection, but that was the last thing I want because I don't want to be injecting myself every single day. But it is something horrible to deal with, and it is, you know, like, makes me insecure, but there's no reason for me to feel like that. And something that I feel a lot of the time when people say, oh, you're lucky, it could be worse. Like, yeah, it could be worse, but just because something could be worse doesn't mean you're not allowed to moan or be upset about how you have it. Like, but I just want to raise awareness for it. I want people to know that it's okay to have something like this, and it's not embarrassing, and that you need to talk to people about it, because if you don't, it's never gonna like get better. So I'm really sorry for this video, and it probably doesn't make much sense. Like, I don't even think I've explained it very well, because I was just, whenever I try talking about it, my mind goes blank. But I could do a Q&A on it. If I put on my Instagram, like, ask me questions about HS, if you would want to see a Q&A on, like, if you want to ask me questions about it, or there's anything that you're curious about, because I know I haven't explained everything. I've missed so many points because my mind just goes blank every time I try and talk about it, because I don't know, I just forget so much that has happened that my mind just goes completely blank. So if you've got any questions, like if there's anything that you want to ask or need some advice, or anyone does have it and you're watching this video, please honestly feel free to message me, because I would never tell anyone and I would love to have someone to talk to. So please feel free to message me about it. And yeah, I want to raise awareness for it, so please share this video and just like this video and subscribe to my channel. And obviously if people do ask me questions, I can make a video answering them questions, but that is just for future. Like if well, I know I didn't explain it in this video very well. Thank you for watching this video. I hope it wasn't too long, and I hope I didn't like just ramble on for so long, and I'm really sorry I cried, but I'm hormonal. So yeah, no excuse, but still. And yeah, so thank you for watching. Bye.